Bring us your verses, your inspirations, your thought. Join us with your words. Use this platform here to show the world that you're the poet.
Welcome to episode 50 of You're the Poet, the poetry podcast featuring you. I'm host Matt Burgio, and I'm here with co-host Phil Burgio. Phil, welcome.
Happy to be here.
Here at You're the Poet, our purpose is to share our love of poetry with the world and invite you to do the same. We want to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners who have made You're the Poet possible. We hope you enjoyed the podcast and the poetry that is shared here. We're calling this episode of You're the Poet the Tanka Special, and our featured guests for this episode include past guests who submitted original tanka of their own and some reflections on the form. These guests include Brett Eldridge, Simon Drake, Peter Rivers, Mark Weiner, Travis Hupp, Richard Ebner, Ryan Morgan, James Bryant, Amos Mkubwa, Janet Ty, Gabrielle Myers, Jodi Harsh, Jonathan Phelps, Douglas Ray Jaffe, Jay Michaelsen, Lynne Alison, and Loren. We hope you enjoy their contributions to the episode. To start things off, we want to say a few things about the tanka. The tanka is a form of Japanese short poetry that's derived from the broader poetic form called waka, which became a sort of form of personal communication back in its origins. It was popular in the Japanese imperial court, but by medieval times it extended out to the common people as well. And just a little bit about the form, it's a 31-syllable form, and in English it's typically broken up into a 5-line poem with the syllable structure of 5-7-5-7-7. The first 3 lines are similar to the haiku and are referred to as kaminoku in a tanka. This is the descriptive or image-focused part of the tanka. And the final 2 lines are called shimonoku, which is the reflective, metaphor, simile, or personification section of the tanka. And the 3rd line of the tanka makes a transition between the 2 parts. All right, from here I'm going to turn it over to Phil to share a classic tanka for this episode.
This tanka was written by Sadakichi Hartmann. Mother was Japanese. His father was a German businessman. He was born near Nagasaki. He was raised in Germany and he arrived in Philadelphia in 1882, became an American citizen in 1894. He was an important early participant in the modernism. His friends were such diverse figures as Walt Whitman, Ezra Pound. He wrote various works, poetry, criticisms, critiques. He was crowned King of the Bohemians by Guido Bruno in New York's Greenwich Village. Later on in his life, he was living in California with his daughter. 1942, when the Americans had mass incarcerations of Japanese Americans in the West Coast. Because of his age and his health conditions, he was one of the few Japanese Americans on the West Coast to avoid being in the incarceration. He died in 1944. Here's his poem. Winter, spring, who knows? White buds from the plum tree's wing and mingled with the snows. No blue skies these flowers bring, yet their fragrance augurs spring. Sadakichi Hartmann. One thing I like about this one, he wrote a rhyming tanka.
All right, from here I'm going to share a couple tanka for the episode. The first tanka I'm going to share, I discovered I wrote years ago, back when I was in middle school and learning about some basic poetic forms. And this one is called Fireworks. Fireworks in sky, shooting over all the trees. Lighted fire sparks, vanishing before our eyes. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Matt Phil Burgio. And then as I got into tanka studying them for this episode, I wrote a new one that was inspired by a fall walk on the bike trail here in late August as the leaves are starting to fall. It's called August Change. The leaves start dropping. Late August wanes into fall as the colors change, reminiscing summer's heat and a turn toward winter's cold. Matt Phil Burgio. So I thought it was fun learning about the tanka again, since I have no memory of learning about them in middle school.
Did you realize it was a tanka when you wrote it back in middle school?
Probably at the time, because we were probably learning about the different forms. I think I wrote all these short poems as we learned about them, whether it was a cinquain, a haiku, a tanka.
Little Mommy has good English teachers if you're going into depth with a haiku in middle school.
I agree. All right, from here we're going to turn it back over to Phil to share his tanka for the episode.
Okay, I have a couple here. The first one was taking up the challenge of writing a tanka. It's called Wildflowers. Colorful flowers growing wild in the meadow. Splashes of color, undomesticated joy, planted by the hand of God. Philip Burgio. And the second one was, I was sitting by a lake at a park doing some bird watching, drinking coffee, eating some donuts. I just start thinking about it, and here's the one called Birds. On a sunny day, sitting here watching the birds, a thought came to mind. Will there be birds in heaven? I can't imagine why not. Philip Burgio.
All right, thank you. All right, and from here, we're going to turn to our guest portion of the episode. You're the Poet. Show us what you've got.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Phil. This is Brett Eldridge from episode 5. Thanks for having me back on You're the Poet. The Tanka was something I've never heard of before until Matt said, hey, this is this. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I've never done one before. So my poetry is really, definitely kind of personal. And a lot of it has to do with my family members, my wife, my kids. And so this is mine. It's called Time, and it's about my wife. Cancer is a thief. There is never enough time. I love you, my friend. Let's make the most of it all. Time with you, my wife. That's all. Brett Eldridge. Like I said, thanks for having me on. Take care. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Simon Drake, and this poem I have written is for episode 50 of You're the Poet, and it's called a Tanka, which is a special poem which has a specific set of rules, and the poem is called Dark. Falling through blackness, the empty void was my heart, now and nothingness. You tore that away from me, my capacity to love. By Simon Drake. I've been writing a lot lately about relationships, lost loves, and the hurt that loss leaves.
Hello, You're the Poet family. This is Peter Rivers from episodes 12 and 31. I'd like to recite a Tanka for you. Time destroys all things, acting quickly and slowly. No rhyme or reason. We get trapped in an instant, reflecting eternity. I really love the basic simplicity of the Tanka form, the 5-7-5-7-7 syllable counts with the kind of twisting resolution at the end. It's like a haiku on steroids. I really enjoy that. Thank you for including me. Cheers.
Hi there. This is Mark Weiner from episode lucky number 13. I want to congratulate Matt and Phil and the entire You're the Poet community on the 50th episode. That's a wonderful achievement. I haven't participated in the prior all calls because I am allergic to form. It's an adult onset allergy, and I just don't do form. I think the prior two were limerick and haiku, but I had never heard of Tanka. I was absolutely fascinated and thought, that's interesting, so I'm going to play. So this is called A Tanka for Benny and Jerry. Jerry is sleek, plays hard to get. Benny is a bundle, shows up quick. 2 dogs with 2 people to complete our happy household. And those are about my 2 dogs who had been abandoned in an industrial section of a city in Connecticut. And they were rescued, and it's a very long story, but they ended up in our household, and they completed it perfectly. So congratulations to all on the 50th episode of You're the Poet.
Hi, I'm Travis Hupp from episodes 16 and 41 of You're the Poet, and these are my Tanka. The first one's called Wishing Hard. Pics from years ago, it just passes so darn fast. Time together gone, wishing hard it would come back. I mourn shortness of dog lives. Second one is called Father. Baby possums crawl over dead mother's carcass, so lost without her. I scoop babies up gently. Looks like I'm their father now. I really enjoyed writing these Tankas. It was a new form to me, so I always am interested in exploring a new form. And I really appreciate You're the Poet welcoming me back to join in on another episode. Thanks a lot for including me.
Richard Ebner here. I feel honored to be included in You're the Poet's 50th episode. Wow, the 50th. I remember being invited as a guest on the 17th episode. It is such a great and inspirational site that Matt and his dad have created. Here are my first 3 Tankas. Some write a Tanka. Waka, another naming. Haiku, I begin. Images at the starting. 7th century still here. Clouds over my whiskers. Am I a worm or some other? sunlight emerging. Too strong to stay here today, must find shade and sheltering. A worm you are not, a caterpillar you are. Soon a moth to be, some time spent in a cocoon, then into the sky you go. Richard Ebner, 2025.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Morgan from episodes 18 and 38. I always think of this time of year as the real new year. Probably something to do with going back to school and all those memories of something fresh happening, even as everything seems to be going to sleep. So that's what my tanker is about. Singing sideways and shadowy out of the long, mysterious Celtic twilight. My tanker is called Crossing Season. Fall's first ferrous flecks flick flames from flint box forests. Weathering within, whetted wanderlust waxes, brambled by my need to grow. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, this is James Bryant from episodes 19, 30, and 40. This is the first tanka I've ever written. I have no idea what inspired the subject matter, but here goes. Thin silver needles, fire to an old tablespoon. Liquid then bubbles, fire enters into the vein, a junkie's last wish come true. I found it a little bit challenging to follow the guidelines for a tanka with the imagery shift in that, but I gave it my best shot. Hope everybody's doing well, and peace out.
Hello, this is Amos Mkubwa of episode 21, welcoming you to yet another episode. I'm introducing my Tanka poem. The title of the poem is An Idiot of the 21st Century. And here it goes. Despite the fact that she was pregnant of him then, the best she knew was that he ain't an idiot of the 21st century. This poem is talking about a pregnant woman. This poem is talking about what happened to me today when I was thinking about what I was writing about this poem. And I was telling my wife that I had a task to write a tanka today, and she was telling me that she knew that I was not an idiot of the 21st century, so she knew that I could write something incredible. This poem, I'm dedicating it to You Are the Poet, 50th episode, and I'm dedicating it to all the poets and poetesses who will be submitting to this episode. So congratulations to all of us who have made it to the 50th episode. Congratulations, Matt and Phil. And congratulations, You Are the Poet family. Thank you. This is Amos Mkubwa from Kenya.
Hello, everybody. My name is Janet Tai. I'm from Malaysia. I was the guest on You're the Poet, episode 25. Congratulations for the 50th episode and the call for a tanka poem. This is my version, and it's about someone waiting for another loved one for the very first time. The excitement for the very first time. This is my perspective. Autumn escapades. Her heart palpitates. Her flight is descending soon. Autumn has arrived. A promise to meet has come. He will be waiting for sure. Okay, this is my contribution for the 50th episode. Congratulations, Matt. That's all.
This next tanka is from episode 28 and 45 guest, Gabrielle Myers. She sent a poem that's actually comprised of two tanka fused together.
Hi, this is America. Love it or leave it. They say leave America. Their hands unweathered, their lungs clear of herbicides. Love it, they say from flagpoles, from cocked rifles. As their tongues bury their grandmother's accents, they love it, while others must leave it through their love.
Hi, my name's Jodi Harsh, and I was on episode 29 and 40 of You're the Poet. The name of my tantra is Serendipity. Serendipity It came unexpectedly. Today is the day for my world changes to manifest. The end draws in new beginnings. By Jodi Harsh. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy writing haikus a lot. I do have a haiku page, Harsh Words, Haikus Only, on Facebook. I like the challenge of having the extra syllables in there to challenge you more. I really enjoyed it, so I think it's something that I will probably pursue a little bit more of. And I'm still working on a manuscript so I can try to get my first book out there and hopefully be able to spread my wings a little bit. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Phelps from episodes 32 and 45 of You're the Poet. This is going to be my first attempt at doing Tanka-style poetry. If you write longer poems, trying to condense my words down to 31 syllables to tell a story was a fun little adjustment. I wrote 2 of them as sort of a series on the perspective of the universe gifting us life and then taking it back. The first one I have named Born from Stardust, and it goes, a breath in the void. Stars scatter seeds into flesh. Time bends into bone. The silence of galaxies whispers us into being. Jonathan Phelps. The second one I have named Return to the Stars. It goes, ash drifts into stars, unwoven threads of being fold back into flame. The cosmos drinks my silence. I am sky becoming whole. By Jonathan Phelps. I'd like to take a second to thank Matt and Phil for having me on You're the Poet a third time. I appreciate all the hard work and dedication you guys put into the art. I look forward to seeing what you guys have planned for the future, and look forward to hearing from you guys again. Thank you, and have a great day.
Hi, everybody. This is Douglas Ray Jaffe. I would like to congratulate you on your 50th episode of You're the Poet. Cities of refuge, are you there for show and tell? Your words are quite sweet. Will you prove true in the end? Will you open your gates, or will you close your doors on me? Hoping that your future and everybody's future will soon be united as one people with one heart. And I believe it all starts with acts of kindness. Love your fellow man as yourself is important to me, and I hope it's important to everybody that's listening to your podcast today.
Hi, Matt. This is Jay Michaelsen. I just wanted to give you the next poem, the Tanka. So, here we go. Illusion of time. Moments slip away, but joy is never absent. It waits in the now. The mind weaves a restless past. The heart just whispers, just be there. Is it okay?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynne Alison, and I was on episode 47 of the You're a Poet podcast. I have 2 Tanka poems written to recite today. I had written a few haiku poems before when I returned to poetry a couple of years ago. I actually began back with some haiku. I found them quite to be a spiritual rite and quite therapeutic. So this is my first attempt at Tanka, and my first one I was inspired to write as I watched my child return to school after the summer break. My son falls once more. I let go of your sweet hand. As the seasons change, I watch with pride in my heart. Independently, you step. Then my second Tanka, it's a bit darker. It relates to all the atrocities conducted around the world today, and unfortunately the reasons we war. Bitter tears you cry, blackened with the soot you seek, polluting our truth. You sit just like it, waiting, watching us burn for your win. They're my 2 contributions for today's episode. Take care.
Hi there. Loren here from episode 48 of You're the Poet. I quite liked working in this form. Though not my usual style, the Tanka's quite short and sweet. The style allows you to be really poetic in language and was difficult adhering to the format, but still very fun to attempt. I had a few plays round and then eventually settled and I got comfortable with the format. So without further ado, here is my Tanka, which is inspired by emotional loss and longing. Though now ghosts to me, you're still very much alive, wandering through time, lost to eyes, extant in mind, incandescent memories.
Thank you guys for sharing your Tanka with us. It's been a pretty fast pace up to 50th episode, and I'd like to acknowledge the fact that I have made a bunch of friends through this podcast, and I appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's definitely been a whirlwind. I can't believe we're at episode 50 already. Thank you guys for continuing to be a part of the You're the Poet community, and we look forward to our future growth. As we wrap things up, we want to let our listeners know we are grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. We hope you're enjoying the poetry shared here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. If you would like to support You're the Poet and what we're doing here, there are a couple of ways to help. You can find links on our website to our Buy Me a Coffee patron site, as well as our You're the Poet store, where you can buy You're the Poet merchandise and share your love of poetry with the world. Thank you for your support as we continue to grow. If you've written any poetry and you want to share it here, whether you just have an interest in poetry, consider yourself an amateur poet, or are a professional poet with published works, contact us to be a guest on a future episode. Please check out our website and various social media outlets to keep up to date with You're the Poet. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website, you'rethepoet.com. Until next time, Phil, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. I want to thank all the guests who have taken us to episode 50. We few, we happy few, we band of poets. For those who share ink with me, our family. With apologies to the bard.
Thank you to all of our guests who keep contributing to the You're the Poet community. Thank you all. Goodbye.